Today, I'm a frustrated homebuyer, just trying to get my foot in the door. Literally, Julie, can you help me out? I'm pulling my hair out here, trying to figure out if my credit score is really the golden ticket to homeownership or just a shiny distraction. Do I really need to obsess over every point? Or is there a way to work the system a bit? Be real with me.
You don't have to be so credit, scared. You can get a loan with not the highest credit scores.
Okay, that's good.
Love it.
All right. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Talk. I'm Dured, and as usual, joined by my brother in crime, Leo.
Yeah, thanks, Dured. Today, actually, I'm really excited, like every time, nothing new about me. But today, it's more excitement because today we're going to close the file. We're going to talk about everything about like the first-time home buyers, mortgages, lending, home approvals, everything A to Z.
Absolutely, Leo. And to help us navigate this water, we have with us today a top-notch mortgage broker. And she's going to break down everything you need to know about home loans and first-time home buyers.
So we have today Julie G. That's how she like to be called. Julie G, how are you?
I'm doing
please
good.
Tell me a lot about you. You are very interesting for me because you've been for a long time in this business. So tell me about you. Tell us.
Okay. Yes, I have. I've been in the mortgage industry for 23 years. I started in 2001. And it's really the only thing I've ever done. And I love it.
Wow.
So yeah, my family
years.
makes fun of me.
Like
They're
my age.
Yeah. Oh, you're 23?
You almost.
Oh, wow. Almost? You're not even 23?
No, I'm so young.
I'm going to pretend.
wish.
I'm going to pretend I don't know that.
He's lying. He's lying.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, so it's the only thing I've ever done and I love it, and I love every single day. It never gets old. So when my phone rings, even now, 23 years later, I still get that feeling. Like I'm so honored that my phone rings and somebody is coming to me to help them with such a huge part of their life. And I never take that for granted.
Is that what they call God level?
Is it what?
God level?
God level?
Maybe.
Everything has a higher level. Like there's boss level.
God level.
God level? I mean,
It's
I
like
don't
a
know.
video
I don't know if
game.
I've reached God level.
Let's do boss level.
Okay, yeah.
At least boss level.
Yes, I don't think I'm God level yet,
I
but
like that.
I aspire to that, I guess. But yeah, right now it's good because it's a lot of years of doing the same thing consistently over and over, and I've just grown such a beautiful book of business that I'm.
And you always been a
grateful.
loan officer?
I've
Is that your title,
been a loan
right?
officer. Yeah,
Okay.
always.
Wow.
I started in 2001, and I'm working with the same people that I worked with back then. And it's been a wild ride, but
Wow,
incredible.
you're like a soldier in the big war.
I am.
For
I've been
23
through,
years.
Yeah, I've been through all the different, not all the different markets, but all the
Thank you
markets.
for your service.
Thank you. Yes, it's definitely been insane, but awesome. This market in itself is tough. And my hat goes off to anybody that's in it, realtors, title companies, everybody. It's definitely a tough one. Yeah.
Well, Julie, we are thrilled to have you here with us. And we are so excited to learn from the knowledge you have and, help our first-time home buyers get into the bottom of what they really need to do.
Yeah.
And with that, we're going to get started. So today we're going to be focusing on three main things. We're going to be tackling the most three concerns that first-time home buyer usually, find themselves not really understanding the concept of it much, which is we're going to be talking about credit requirements. We're going to be targeting also job stability and income requirements. And finally, Julie is going to be telling us about the new down payment assistant that has just been refreshed.
Yes.
So we are going to ask very tough questions get the answers that we really need for our viewers to make an informed decision.
I love it.
Yeah, but let me give you more excitement news here.
Okay.
From now on, in our podcast is not only two of us we're gonna be hosting. There is another thing we'll be hosting with us. Fortunately, it's not a human. It's a AI. So yeah, it's an AI who's gonna take a part of our podcast and will host like us, and he will be having the funny part and the part that is maybe a characteristic like a buyer or a seller or anything. So why we did this is just to make it harder for you.
Thank you.
And funny as well. So thank me later.
All right, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
So yeah, let's
You're gonna
grab
love
your
it.
notes, be ready, have your coffee, whatever you drink, and let's start.
Let's go.
All right. So, ready?
Yes.
All right. Now, we're gonna be the most thing that people usually start thinking about when they're embarking on the home journey and they want to start somewhere. And the first thing that comes to their mind is credit. You know, they want to know their credit. And my question is, does a high credit score really open more doors, or is it just an overhype?
It opens up more doors. It definitely does. So credit is the holy grail, which begins every mortgage loan application. So if you have a credit score that isn't going to meet the criteria that you need to get financing, you could have a lot of issues, you know. So it's not hype. It's going to give you more purchasing power if you have a better credit score. It's going to give you a lower interest rate, which is going to give you a lower monthly payment, which everybody wants. So it definitely makes sense to spend some time cleaning up your credit if you have the time, so you can put yourself in a position to be most cost effective for yourself and get what you want. You know, so there's so many different avenues you can, you know, unpack when it comes to credit. I work with a lot of credit, you know, experts in the business, and I've talked to them, you know, for hours to just try to get a little bit more insight to help my buyers.
About the credit. But
Yeah.
let's go back, like you said, it's really important, but it's not a hype. So let's say I'm making $1 million a year.
Yeah.
But my credit is like,
When did you start making money?
And what are
I
you
keep
doing
it
that you're
secret
making
from
that
you.
much?
I keep it secret from you. So let's say I'm making $1 million a year,
Assisted.
Yeah.
but my credit score is 600.
So 600 we could work with if you're making $1 million a year
Okay.
typically. But if you are if your credit score is a lot lower, it doesn't matter how much you make. There's credit limits.
How much lower?
So that's another question that everybody asks is, well, what's the lowest I can possibly
What's
have?
the
And
worst?
What's the worst? So I don't love answering that question because to be honest, because then it gives people false hope. So if let's say my limit's 550, which it could be, the likelihood of you getting approved for a loan with a 550 credit score is very low because it's not just credit score. It's not like you hit that 550 and you're approved. You have to have so many other factors that are going to go your way positively to possibly allow you to use such a poor credit score. You know, so it does not matter really what the limit is. If you have really low debt to income ratio and you have assets and you have good revolving credit and things like that,
Different
sometimes
fact.
the score
Okay.
will
So,
be okay if it's
so
low.
since you mentioned all this, let's say my credit score really low, 550, whatever, regardless of the number.
Yeah.
What is the hacks you can give me right now to help my credit score to get better?
That's a good question.
It's a good question.
It happens a lot.
It's a good question. It's really individualized. It depends on what it is that's hurting your credit. So whenever somebody says my credit score is low, I like to dig a little deeper. Why? What is it? Why is your credit
Is it a
score low?
collection? Is it a missed payment?
Exactly. If it's a repossession, if it's late payment. So there's this saying in my industry that there's no such thing as a little late payment because you might think it's so harmless. You skipped a payment by accident or you had, you know, auto pay online and it just didn't work for whatever reason. But that could really mess up the algorithm of your credit score for up to 12 months, if not longer. So
Wow.
For one missed payment?
one missed payment.
Wow.
I've seen one 30-day late drop a credit score over 100 points. And they didn't even know it was late. And, you know, they come to me ready to buy. They have no idea their
that
credit
sounds
score.
unfair to an extent.
That's correct.
It's
Like,
not
it happens.
the best.
Some people might miss a payment here and there.
Yeah.
You know, nowadays it's overwhelming to keep track. And
It
I,
is.
I do think having everything on autopay, and that's what I do.
Yeah.
If it's not on autopay, it's missed.
It's missed.
It's
Yeah.
it's
I
not
know,
going to be paid.
everybody has busy lives. It's overwhelming. Autopay is the best thing that's ever happened, I think, to credit scores
Right.
in general, because most people have things on autopay, but a lot of people still don't, you know, and collections are another big one, you know, and the problem is a lot of people look at collections with ego and pride instead of just don't mess up your credit. You know, like you don't think you owe your cell phone company a collection of $100 for, you know, little things like that. So they don't pay it and they just throw it in the garbage when it comes. and they don't care. Let them put it on my credit until you want to buy a house. Then it really matters. Then you're going to pay $200, $300, $400, $500 more a month in interest because you didn't make that silly collection payment that could be $50.
It's really funny that people don't even check their credit score every like other month. It's like,
Yeah.
what you doing? It's like, this is the most important thing here when you live in America.
Yeah.
To check your credit score. For me, like every month. I love it. Like I'm like, it's like my Instagram. I will every time refresh it.
Yeah,
refreshing it. Yeah.
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
crucial.
I agree with you. There should be something that you're a credit monitoring service that you subscribe to.
Mhm.
You know, everybody wants to know is Credit Karma exact? It's not. It's not even
No.
close. It's a gauge, you know, so it's definitely something I recommend having on your phone so you can see what's up. If there's fraud, it's going to alert you. But it's never going to be the same as when a lender pulls your credit. It's just not. It's going to go up or down 50, 60 to 100 points. I've seen.
Up or down 100 points.
Could
Wow.
be. Yeah.
So Credit Karma is
Mhm.
good for showing us what's going on
Yes.
on our credit
Yes.
report, but not for
score.
credit score wise.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So
But we didn't
credit
get the hack.
inquiries.
But we didn't get the hack
Right,
really.
right,
Like
yeah,
you didn't
yeah.
get, like
Yeah,
I
that's right.
I think like let me give you examples and you tell me each one
He
what
needs
is the
hack.
best hack.
He's gonna
You
put
want a
in the
hack?
corner.
Okay.
I told
All
you
right,
my credit
we're
score
gonna
is
get a
bad.
hack.
My
We're
credit
gonna
score
do
is bad.
We're
Okay.
giving you
Okay.
a hack.
We're gonna
Just
get
chill, chill.
let's say my credit score now whatever 550 and what's affected is I have collection. What I should do? I have collection of missing payment for a phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it depends
Dispute
don't dispute. So disputes are not always great on your credit because if you
Okay.
are in the process of mortgage application and you have disputes, you have to remove the disputes. When your account is in a dispute, the algorithm is not using that dispute. It's basically off. So once you
Okay.
remove the dispute, it pops back into it. And if we're trying to rescore your credit, it could really damage it. So you
That's
have to
good
be
to
careful.
know.
Yeah.
So what should I do?
That's a
So-
good point, though.
That's a really good point. Yeah. I never
so-
done that.
Yeah. So if you have a collection, it depends on the age of it. If it's recent, I would pay it off. You can sometimes settle it. So you can call the creditor,
Okay.
get a lower amount and settle it. So then it gets removed and it'll say paid.
Mhm.
You don't want anything past due. Some loan programs require you to pay anything past due at closing, you know, so
Okay.
you might not be able to get away with not paying it anyway.
And after closing the collection paid off, the credit score should jump again up and that's will
It
be
should.
enough for you guys.
Yeah.
So what if I have a late payment for credit card?
Unfortunately, you can't do anything about that except for time. That's unless it's false. You know, so if you were like, I paid it on time and you have the banking to prove it, you could go to the creditor and you can get a letter showing that it was a fake report.
Mhm.
But no, there's nothing you can do to increase your credit score if you have a late payment except for wait and let it fall
Just
off.
pay it off and wait till it's fell off.
Not even pay it off. It's just the late payment in itself is going to mess up your credit score
For how long?
At least 12 months.
12, even if I don't pay it off.
Yeah.
So if I pay it off or not, it's gonna miss
Doesn't matter.
my
You
credit
already
score
made
for a
a-
year.
Yes. 'Cause if you think about it, just
Still gonna
if-
show.
Yeah, but if you think about it simply, you're asking a lender to lend you money in the hopes that you're going to pay them back every month on time.
Yeah.
Right? If you aren't doing that with other people and you show
Why am I
Why
gonna
would
do
they-
this?
why should
recently
they
that
trust
you've made
you?
a late
Yeah.
payment and they're going to ding you for that. Yes, they know everybody's human and people make mistakes and they pay late payments, but they're going to make you pay for it. So
Exactly. I
you're,
feel like when you go into the lender, it's like you go on a date. You have to be really careful what you're talking about and what you're doing
do.
and even what you're wearing.
You do.
So watch out.
yeah, you do.
Honestly, before I get to know Julie, George, and all the lenders we are in good relation with, I was intimidated by any lender or anyone who does mortgages and loans
Yeah.
because they are not friendly when they're giving information. Because not because they are not friendly,
Right.
but just because they are so careful
Mm-hmm.
not to give anything that will be implied as otherwise.
Right.
And Julie, don't hate me because I'm asking you too much question.
Not at
But
all.
with what you just said, you just enlightened me of another question. And this topic is really controversial.
Okay.
Credit score, it's on the mind of everybody.
Yeah.
And too much people like really got hurt just because they don't know what they don't know. They don't know better. So
Yeah.
they get hurt. Now, one of the things that we really get lots of buyers that complaining about, and just because they don't know, is credit inquiries a bad thing on your report? And with that, can shopping around for a mortgage hurt their credit score?
It's such a great question. So, and
Yeah.
most people don't know this. And there isn't a day that goes by that I don't get asked this question. So I'm glad you asked. Okay, yes and no. So inquiries, if you're getting them from multiple places at the same time, yes, that could affect your credit. So when I first started in this business, and if I pulled someone's credit and then the next day, Bank of America, let's say, pulled someone's credit, it would lower the credit score. And I would say maybe 8 to 10 years ago, they changed all of the credit laws to help the consumer so the consumer can do their due diligence, shop around and make sure they're getting the best deal for them. So now if I pull credit and then tomorrow same buyer goes into a bank or another lender and they can do it as many times as they want for up to 45 days, I get an identical credit report as all of the other places and they do not get penalized at all. So it definitely puts the buyer in a better financial position so they can make empowered choices for themselves without feeling like, oh my God, I'm not going to get this house if I have anybody else pull my credit. So it's changed a lot. It's changed the game. I encourage every buyer I work with, if they, feel like they want to shop around. I want them to always feel like they are getting the best deal. It's not something
within 45 days.
Within 45 days.
45.
Yeah.
That's a long.
Wow.
That's
a lot of people say 30, but it's really 45. Yeah.
45 days, and you can you can get as much inquiries on your credit
From
But
a
now-
lender. Yeah.
From a lender.
not credit card or anything.
No.
So no, right.
Let's say
Same type of inquiry.
but let's say they're going and they're like, oh, I'm going to buy a house. I'm going to get my mortgage application. Now I'm going to go to, the furniture store and I'm going to go
That's
and
a
get a
different
Target
thing.
card. Different. You can't pull out a bunch of credit at the same time. That's
Okay.
like a huge red flag.
It's a different type of credit check.
Yes.
So same goes for credit cards. If someone is applying for a credit card, can they just go apply for multiple credit cards and still get one?
No.
Thank you.
Just
That's
for
why I
lending.
was
It's
waiting.
different, yeah.
Because it's different.
Home
It's
mortgage
different.
reporting and car reporting because you want to shop for a car loan, as you should. Same thing. But if you're going in, because
Credit card.
that's why inquiries are, credit damaging, because people in a crisis mode are going to go pull out every single type of card and
Correct.
they can borrow as much money as they want, right? So that's an alert for all the credit bureaus to say, something's going on here. Let's
Right.
lower the score.
This buyer or this borrower is desperate for money.
Exactly.
And that will just reflect negatively on the report.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you for answering
course.
that. It's really a
good
big deal.
question.
Yeah.
It is, and it's important for especially a new buyer because they might have old school mentality coming from parents, grandparents. Don't get your credit pulled. But honestly, you can't really get a loan approval without getting a full credit report. There's a soft check. People ask me, can I get a soft pull?
Right.
Sure, you can get a soft pull, but when you actually find the house of your dreams and you need to put your application in at the bank, we have to do a hard pull. A lot of times when you have a soft and a hard pull, the differences are some creditors don't report when you pull the soft pull. So all of a sudden, new things are getting pulled into your credit report. It can throw off your whole loan approval. So I never do those. I if like someone is adamant and they don't want to apply unless we do that, I'll do it. But I explain to them the risks of it. You could fall in love with a house and then just not get it because you don't want your credit pulled. It's really not a strategic, smart move to do that.
Great. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm
I
gonna-
know.
no,
I know
don't
you
be
have.
so-
A,
you don't
but
have- you don't have to be
there is
sorry.
there is something in my mind just with whatever she mentioned, and it's not even prepared.
Yeah.
So, what's the advantages of someone working with a mortgage broker versus someone working with a bank, credit-wise, credit score-wise, or inquiries-wise? Is there any advantages?
No, not credit wise. I mean, I could do a whole podcast on the benefits of going with a broker.
I know.
You know what I mean?
We have a lot, but as a credit goes,
No, I mean, everybody's going to pull credit report and, some lending institutions might have different credit guidelines. So I know for sure they do. Certain like big box banks and retail lenders might clock out at like a 620 score and say, we're not lending anything because it's more of a risk. We as brokers have the availability of going as low as possible because we have every lender at our fingertips. So I can find a place for any loan regardless. If they're going to get approved, we can do it.
isn't it like you pull the credit once and then you present it to most lender versus like the bank pulling the credit only for themselves,
Yeah.
going to another bank, they will pull it again. So for you, if a customer came to you, you're going to pull it once.
Correct.
But you're going to get them so much options, right?
Exactly.
Because our
we
broker.
can shop around to all the different lending places that we work with. So there's right now, I think we have about 12, so I can I don't have to pull a credit report. And a lot of buyers ask that, since you're going to shop it around, are you going to have to pull my credit for each place?
Right.
No, we have it. And then it's good for 120 days. Some banks want us to refresh it after 90, but we don't have to actually re-pull your credit typically for 120 days, which is a long time.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
she's opening so much questions
She,
in my head.
she is. No, she does actually. I agree with you, but you have to stop talking. So,
Just this one. Just
Come on,
go ahead.
give it to
Come
me. You're
on.
good.
Come on. I'm
So you
not
said
charging you
90
for it.
days.
What?
You said 90 days, right?
Some lenders are 90 days. Yeah.
So if that client, after he pulled the credit like a few days ago, he went and pulled another inquiry or do anything that related to his credit within a week, would you know that?
Yeah. So we do know that. So right before we clear our loans to close, they do an
Pull it
inquiry
again.
check. Yeah, because
Okay.
they want to make sure that you haven't not only applied for another mortgage, but applied for anything, a new car payment, anything like that. There are people that will put multiple loan applications out with, multiple lenders. I've seen that before. They have to, and then for me to close it, if I see that, I need them to close that out before I can move anything forward.
There you go, guys. Whoever has this
Yeah.
in their mind,
You
like
do.
they
I
can
kinda
go
like the way you
around.
think.
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Don't
I
even
think-
feel
try.
you.
Now I close
Yeah.
my loop. Here
Okay.
you go.
Yeah, I feel like everyone asking question is like talking about himself.
Totally.
Like, but my credit
You
score
never
is
know.
good. Believe me, it's
You
not
never know.
50.
I'm not judging you. Everybody's had a bad credit score in their life. Believe me, I've worked with so many people. Everyone's going through something,
I
you know,
agree.
and there are times in almost everybody's life the credit takes a little dip.
No, I agree. That's
Yeah.
right. So
Yeah.
I want to take it to a more funny place.
Okay,
Stop
let's
talking
do it.
about my credit score.
You're over credit already.
during the loan application process,
Yeah.
what is the big mistake? Because I know could be funny and dangerous in the same way for you guys. So
Yeah.
tell me more about this thing.
Yeah, I'm excited
Like
to hear
you want to
like
know
the
some of the
story.
big,
Yeah.
flops
Hit me
that
with
I've
a
had?
story. Hit me with a story
Yeah,
or
I
something.
Biggest
mean-
flop and the funniest one.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to
so-
do two?
And I
You want
have
to
one
do two
too.
tonight?
And I
Do
have
two
one
stories?
too.
You
So
have
later.
one too.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think the biggest flopper is always going to be that I had one lady who was about to close, I think 2 days until closing, and we do a VOE, which is a verification of employment, not to do income or anything, just to confirm you're
How
still
many days
employed.
before?
It was 2 days.
Before closing.
Before closing. Sometimes we do it up to like 5 or 7, but it was 2 days. It was end of the month. It was really
She's
busy.
still working. Everything good.
Right. So that's it. We just say, hey, we're just confirming you're still employed. I don't do it. The bank has a VOE department and they
Okay.
do it.
They just call the employer?
They call
Yeah,
on
go on,
every
check.
single loan that happens, just to
Okay.
make sure that you're still employed and you're going to still be employed at the time of closing. So I get a call, urgent from the VOE department, and they say, yeah, it looks like they're no longer employed. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, we're closing in 2 days. How did she not tell me? It's a husband and a wife. So I, text the wife. I'm like, hey, call me. So she called me and she's like, I didn't know that I still had to work. I'm pregnant and I don't want to work. And I'm like,
Call
Okay.
me.
you're closing in 2 days. What do you mean? You just didn't know that you had to keep on working. She goes, I gave you my last pay stub. I'm like, well, I hate to tell you this, but you're going to need to get up. Sorry that you're pregnant and your feet are up, but you're going to need to go get yourself
That
a job
hurt.
ASAP because we were closed. Then we postponed the closing. I gave it I think an extra 7 days. Here's a fun fact. You can start a new job without actually even beginning it. Just get an offer letter if it's a salary W-2 position with a start date, as long as we can clear all the contingencies like a drug test and things like that. You can actually close on a loan with just an executed offer letter. So that's what we were
Wow.
able to do.
Wow.
But that could have blown up. I've had deals blown up.
So what
because
happened in her case?
She got a job. She was in
Wow.
she was a dental hygienist. She went and she got a new job as a dental hygienist. She wasn't happy about it. She wanted to eat bonbons and chill. I'm like, you can't if you want the new house for the baby.
So what you're saying right now, if you are in the loan process, the application loan process, and you've been working and we verify all this, don't if you're thinking about leaving the job, don't leave the job till
leave
you
it.
close in the home, till you get the keys.
Till you get the keys, till the loan even funds, honestly, because I had the same thing happen. The guy quit the day of closing. They verified everything. We funded and they have something called post-closing. And the buyer signs, and we have to acknowledge that if anything comes up post-closing, we have to, we're obligated to present any extra documentation to show that the loan was, done in due diligence. So I was like, You quit your job the day of
She's
closing.
like, what do you
seriously?
mean?
And he's like,
Like,
I'm
you couldn't
self-employed. I
wait?
wanted to be self-employed now. I'm like,
Now.
yeah. So, people do crazy things and they don't tell
You said
me.
another story. Yeah, you have another story too, you said?
I mean, in that the pregnant
We're
one
coming
was
up. We're
recent.
coming
Yeah.
up on lots of
The
segments.
pregnant
It's
one
all
was
right.
recent and it was just wild.
I have a story that is, because I'm not
Yeah.
a loan officer, but
Right.
I'm an agent, but
Yeah.
like a friend of me, he just told me about it. The buyer, he just sent him a picture. So I'm like, hey, new home, new car, right? And he was like so happy.
Oh yeah, I've had that.
He told me like, what do you mean? Like what you did?
I had that. Oh, I've had that a million. I mean, that's like old news, but people do that. I mean, it's funny.
Okay.
But I had one guy who
hit me hard. I'm not a loan officer.
He had a 20
She's just getting started.
No, but I had one guy who had a $2,200 car payment. $2,200, and the mortgage payment would have been less. It was
Right.
a couple years ago.
22.
Before inflation.
2,200 car payment?
Car payment, and I'm
Oh
like,
my
monthly car.
God.
Then what?
he didn't qualify, and
A monthly car payment, 2,200?
monthly car payment.
What do you have, a Lamborghini or
I
something?
think it was like either a Porsche or a Lamborghini. I'm not a car person, but
Okay.
it was a Porsche or a Lamborghini, and I approved him, and then 6 months later, he wanted to, refresh everything. I'm like, what is this? And he's like, oh, I got this car. I have a girlfriend. She wanted me to get it. I'm like, yeah, well, you can't buy a house now. So let me know when that car is off.
Enjoy your
credit.
girlfriend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
enjoy. Sleep in. I was like, sleep in your car. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, that's funny.
People do.
That's
Oh,
funny.
how do you think
I'm better
Enjoy
than
your
you. That's
Yeah.
fine. Enjoy your
people people do some weird shit. They do. I see it all.
I bet that
Yeah.
woman who was pregnant just quit her job
Oh, I
the second
think
day
she-
after closing.
Literally the day of.
No, I
probably.
bet
But
after
I was
this-
like, I don't
after
care
this
what you do,
news.
have your baby, but if you want to put the baby in a new house, this is what you
Yeah.
have to do. You
Yeah.
know, it was
Totally.
super stressful. She wasn't happy with me.
That's
but we got
cool.
divorced.
So
Yeah.
I'm so excited right now. Guess who's gonna be funnier than me and you?
The AI guy.
Mask, the AI.
I'm a little scared.
She called
wanna
Mask,
know- you
please.
know what
Don't
I
call her
heard, which I
AI.
think is so
her
good?
name is Mask.
Mask.
Don't call her AI. Yes,
Just
she is
call-
not a human,
Mask?
but her name is Mask.
Okay, Mask.
Because she keeps changing masks.
Well, I'm starting to get comfortable with AI, so
Uh-huh.
I'm not intimidated. And I did a seminar when I was at UWM in Michigan, and
Okay.
the IT guy came out and said, there's so much rumors that in our industry, especially, that AI is going to just wipe out our industry. So the guy stood up, and I don't remember his name, but I loved what he said. He said, AI isn't going to take over our industry, but people who use AI will. And I was like,
Yes.
That
love
is
that, 'cause it's,
correct.
yeah, right. There's
I
so
love
many
this.
awesome things that we can add to our business with AI. I've already started doing that with a lot of my stuff, and it's great.
Sorry for my strong or like my words. That is, whoever think that AI will take his job, he's
Yeah.
loser.
Agreed.
He's loser from the beginning. It's not AI took your job. Your job already is not important.
Right.
Like exactly.
nobody
Sorry
can
for
take
that,
your
but
job.
no,
Yeah, I
nobody
agree.
can really like.
Yeah.
If your job really that important, nobody can take it, even AI. But
Yeah.
AI could leverage your time and make you way better in your job.
Agreed.
Yeah, anyone can get to a point where they are irreplaceable,
Yeah.
and anyone can think of themselves that they are easily replaceable,
Right.
and those are the people
Right.
who are gonna be replaced.
Yeah.
So is Mask is ready with us?
All right.
Let's go, Mask.
So you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold tight. Come on.
Let's go.
All right, I want to put that on camera.
Yeah, the speaker is here.
Or
I think.
maybe
You're putting
not.
mask on
We
camera?
You don't have to in the
No, we don't,
camera.
yeah.
Just
So Mask's
let
a
us-
girl?
The speaker, I think, from there.
Is she a girl or
She is
she's a woman?
a lady.
a lady?
She's
Okay.
a lady. Her name is Mask.
She's a she, her?
She is 6'2".
Okay. She's 6'2".
Yeah.
Okay, she's a handsome woman.
She is
Hey,
beautiful.
Mask. So it's your turn now, and Julie is excited. Julie is excited.
Julie.
Who is Julie?
excited. We'll do it again.
Okay.
We'll cut that out.
Okay, cut it out. Just
Both.
others here too? Oh, you have the new iPad. You're rich.
Hey, Mask. I guess it's your turn now, and Julie is so excited to hear your question. Go ahead.
Hey, Durid, Leo, and the fabulous Julie. Today, I'm a frustrated homebuyer, just trying to get my foot in the door. Literally, Julie, can you help me out? I'm pulling my hair out here, trying to figure out if my credit score is really the golden ticket to homeownership or just a shiny distraction. Do I really need to obsess over every point? Or is there a way to work the system a bit? Be real with me.
I love the question. So yeah, we touched on that a little earlier, but you don't have to be so credit, scared. You can get a loan with not the highest credit score. So I would focus on other things too. So if what I do right away is I do review the credit. And if there are things we can do to quickly get the score up to improve what your interest rate would be, we can do something called a rapid rescore. So if I pull the credit and I see quickly, if I do this and I do this and I do this, we can jump it up and then your interest rate's going to be a lot lower. We'll do that. So a lot of people don't know about that. It's not just you pull your credit and then you're stuck with it. We can actually change it and manipulate it throughout the process to help you save money. So
there
we
you
do
go,
that.
Mask.
Yeah.
You got your question.
Is that good?
That's awesome, Julie. Thanks for clearing that up. I feel a bit more hopeful now. Maybe I won't have to sell my kidney to get a decent interest rate. Keep those insider tips coming.
You got
All right.
it.
Thank you, Mask. There you can go now, and we'll
And
see
be
you in
tough
the
next time.
segment.
I love it. That was a good question.
Glad I could help. See you in the next segment.
Perfect.
All right.
I love Mask.
She's great.
She's beautiful though.
Yeah?
Yeah, I will show
that's
you.
my
I
special
can't see.
mask.
Oh.
That's my special mask.
That's your special
Yeah,
one.
it's my special mask. It's different from every other AI here. It's my AI.
Well, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Next time, the next segment, she will talk more. I will give her more space
Okay.
to put you in the corner.
Okay.
So, because I cannot, but she can probably.
Yeah, she's
Right?
You guys are doing
Powerful.
good.
Yeah.
Putting me in the corner.
Thank you for this compliment. You're gonna
trying
change.
our
You're gonna
best.
change your mind after a few minutes.
Oh, God. Okay.
Go ahead. What's your question?
All right. So with that, with the credit dilemma
Yeah.
out of the way, and you did the great job, by the way, explaining every small and big thing. Now we're gonna hit the other very talked about topic, which
Okay.
is job,
Yeah.
job and income. You know, we need to know how stable does it have to be. You know, and the question that I always get is job hopping a deal breaker for getting a mortgage?